In today's video, I'm sharing 9 ways you can use your planner for a year of beauty in 2026. Hello everyone, Jennifer here, and welcome back to the Daily Connoisseur. And I would like to formally introduce you to our newest family member. His name is Watson. Watson is a Yorkshire Terrier, and we surprised the kids with Watson for Christmas, and we had a wonderful holiday. So I hope that you did too. Happy New Year. I will share more about Watson in future videos. This isn't the one for it, but I just had to introduce you to him because he is so adorable and I'm so in love with him. Okay, I'm going to put Watson in his little room and we can get back to the video. Okay, so this video is going to focus more on planning for a year of beauty rather than a year of success or a year of prosperity or a year of, I don't know, like all the big things that we usually plan for. There's nothing wrong with success and prosperity, trust me, like I want it too. But I think after so much contemplation of the hustle culture, right? I think that if I have a year of beauty, that is success and prosperity. And it's something that we can all have. So let's plan for it. And we're going to start off by my first tip, which is of course to choose a word of the year. Everyone goes about choosing their word of the year differently. Mine tends to be a very spiritual practice. I sit in prayer and meditation and I generally ask for a word of the year and I will also journal about it. So I sat in meditation the other day and I just, I put the intention out there that I wanted to find my word of the year, and a word immediately came into my mind so fast that I thought, is this the word of the year or is this me like making this up, And so I tried to put that one aside and think of other words of the year, but it just kept coming back to me. So my word of the year for 2026 is receive. I know, I was like, what? Receive? Receive what? It was kind of shocking because I was expecting something more whimsical and aesthetic than receive, but I think that that is actually what I need to do. Receive what? Receive more beauty, receive rest, receive help, receive love, I need to receive more because I feel like I'm the type of person who is constantly producing, constantly doing, making, giving. And that's with my home duties, my home responsibilities with my family, and of course with my work too, just hustle, 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 constantly producing things. And so I think that for me, it is important for me to step back and to receive. And the main thing I need to receive is rest. But I mean, this is a whole other video, so I will talk about that in another video. I would love to know what your word of the year is. Please let me know down below. And we'll discuss this, in the future, but we need to get on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is to plan your days around energy, not time. So this is going to be big for me because I typically use my planner as a to-do list and it's pretty rigid. And I noticed that if I didn't do everything on my list, I would get stressed out. I will still have a list, but I'm going to plan my days around when I have high energy and when I have low energy. And typically for me, although this will be different for everybody else, but when I have high energy, that's when I want to do all my hard mental work, my intellectual work, right? So that's going to be writing, that's going to be creating, that's going to be all of the things to do with my work that require a lot of thought and mind presence, okay? Also, I will intermix in there because I like to mix it up, high energy housework, things that I need a lot of energy to do. In the low energy hours, which for me are typically in the afternoon to evening, I will do things like admin work, okay? Or what else? Oh, errands. I wrote down errands and mindless homemaking. I say mindless, but when you're rambling about at the end of the day and you're exhausted and you have to clean the kitchen, So I'm okay with doing that when I am in low energy mode because I'll pop in a podcast or an audiobook and I'll just clean the kitchen. I'm not going to waste my high energy hours on cleaning the kitchen because I would rather write a poem or I would rather write a chapter in a book or do something that requires my mind presence during those times. But everybody's different. You might want to clean your whole house when you have high energy. It's up to you for what you want to do. But yes, I'm going to keep energy in mind in 2026. The third tip is to create weekly anchor rituals, and these are going to be on a weekly basis. Most of us naturally do this anyway. You just probably don't know it or you haven't been formal about writing it down. But I like to do a Sunday reset. I like to meal prep and meal plan often on a Sunday. Those are some ideas. Another one could be a really long walk or reading and journaling. Of course, these are things that you will do every day too, probably, but maybe you want like a longer session once a week. So it'll be different for everyone again, but a weekly reset or something like that that you can look forward to each week is a good thing to schedule. The fourth tip is to track quality over quantity. And again, I in the past have been like checking things off my to-do list, right? Which is quantity. But for me, quality is also, am I living well? What felt nourishing about this week? Or what felt rushed or draining? And it's these little tweaks, these little questions that we ask ourselves about our week that can really make or break the week. And I wanted to do a little interlude here because if you love to live well at home and it's something you're passionate about or it's something that you would like to do, I would love for you to read my new book, The Daily Connoisseur's Guide to Living Well at Home. This is full of ideas on how you can adjust your days to live beautifully at home. So I wanted to give a shout out to my new book. My fifth tip is to use those monthly pages that are usually in every planner for seasonal intentions. So for example, as we go into winter, your intention could be quiet mornings, nourishing meals, deep focus, contemplation. That could be something that you work on in the winter time. And then when we go into the spring, you could do some spring intentions. And these are like miniature words of the year that help you get through the seasons and not lose focus. So you could return to those monthly pages every time you feel a bit off so you could get back on track. The sixth tip is to create a not to do list. Or another way to put it would be matters to lay aside. I like that one too. So an example of what would be on my not to do list would be overscheduling, things that are overstimulating for me. Like I vowed to my kids I would never go to the mall on like a Saturday afternoon again. You know what I mean? Where you just know that you're going to be overstimulated by the crowds or whatever. Another example would be going on your phone first thing in the morning if you do that, or just anything that you do that you know it's not working for you. You could put that on your list and review it regularly again. The seventh way to use your planner for a year of beauty is to track your inner life. Part of living a beautiful life is to cultivate a rich inner world. Philosophers in the past have said it's cultivating our inner garden, and you can do this in your planner as well. So you can write down books you're reading. You could write down poems, quotes, and ideas that moved you. So you could also kind of combine your planner with a commonplace book if that's something that you keep, or you could keep them separate, but I think it's nice to write these things down. I continue to use a commonplace book, but I also sometimes write these things in my planner as well. And you could also write down creative sparks, inspiration, things that cultivate your inner world. Because when we use our planner, we can get so bogged down in the minutia of our mundane to-do list that it's important that we don't forget ourselves in this and that we cultivate our inner world this way. The eighth way to use your planner for a year of beauty is kind of obvious, but it is to plan for beauty. So you can schedule in fun events for yourself. You know, I love to do this. Plan a dinner with a girlfriend, plan a night out at the theater. You could go see the ballet, you could go see a museum, you could go forest bathing. There are umpteen things that you could do to plan for beauty, and they don't have to be expensive. They could be free, and you can write them in your planner and schedule them in and make sure that you do it. Kind of like a bucket list of sorts, but we're going to plan for adding beauty into our lives. This is going to help us with our tremendously busy schedules. I also want you to think of planning beauty as a priority, not a reward. So even in the past, when I would say I would reward myself with a cup of tea, I don't like that language and I don't like that perspective. So I'm really changing. And I think it's important that we prioritize beauty. It is as important to have a cup of tea as it is to pay the utility bills or whatever boring thing that you have to do, okay? So we need to understand the importance of adding beauty into our lives. And the final tip I have for planning for a beautiful 2026 is to end the week in a gentle review. And this could become a ritual for you, maybe on your reset day, maybe on a Sunday or a Friday. So you can write down one thing that went really well or one thing that you're proud of. You could write down one lesson that you learned, and you could write down one adjustment. This process will create steady growth in your life without harsh judgment or criticism, you know? And there's a famous quote. I need to look it up, actually. Let me get my phone. Okay, there's a famous quote, and I had to look it up, but it's from Nathan W. Morris. And he said, "Edit your life frequently and ruthlessly. It is your masterpiece after all." And so as we go about journaling, commonplacing, using our planners for 2026, I think that these practices will help us to lead a beautiful life. I feel like I could talk to you about this for an hour, but I just don't know if you want to hear it. But I truly think that we all want success. We want to do well in all areas of our life. But for me, if I'm living a beautiful life, then success naturally flows. And so gone is the hustle culture. I'm over it. Like I really am. I am adding more time for beauty in my life, for reading, for writing poetry, for walks, for playing the piano, now for playing with Watson, who is my love. So I am really excited for 2026. I would love to know your word of the year. Are you on board with this plan for beauty? Remember, you don't have to do all 9 of these tips. Just do the ones that resonate with you. I don't want you to feel like you're behind or you have to do this complicated planning routine. These are just some ideas that I jotted down that I plan to implement in 2026. I hope that you will subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more planner videos coming. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to a year of new videos with you on the channel. So keep calm and remain classy, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.